What's going on, guys? Another late night in the messy shop trying to get a couple of things done and getting ready to call it a day, but I wanted to fire up the camera and give you a little bit of a shop update, talk about some things I've been working on, a couple of things I hope to soon be working on, and maybe show you a new toy that I got as well. So for those of you that are interested, this one's for you. If you're not, I guess go ahead and go watch something else, right? So first I'll show you the new toy I got, something I've been wanting to get for a while. It's a DRO, or a digital readout, for my knee mill. And I ended up going with a 3-axis, although probably 2 would have been fine for the type of work I normally do. And it's probably fine for most people, but you know, there are occasions when it is nice to be able to get a quick reading of the Z or the knee without having to, you know, count cranks on the dial or, you know, re-zero that every time. So it's more of a convenience thing than anything, and really, I guess any DRO is probably as much a convenience or a luxury item as maybe it would be a necessity. But, you know, it does make things go a little bit quicker, a little bit more efficiently, and can potentially help increase your precision and accuracy as well. You don't have to worry about things like backlash, loose handles, things like that. And it also does several other functions and layouts and things that I've still yet to look into, but it seems like a pretty versatile tool, and you know, for the money paid, I think it's a pretty good investment. So just to give one example of what's nice about this, you can hear me moving this handle back and forth. Nothing's moving, that's all backlash right there. And yes, it does work, as you could see. But you know, that's something you always got to account for. You know, when you're manually machining, this just kind of takes the guesswork out of it. So it should be a welcome addition to the shop. Right now I just got the X and Y set up. I do still need to put the covers over the scales, which, you know, they're just some simple pieces of aluminum angle. Get a couple self-tappers to go on the top there, and that shouldn't be a big deal. I've actually got to pick some up, though. I thought I had some, but I can't seem to find them, so we'll get some of those maybe tomorrow. But pretty happy to finally have one. Really didn't pay a lot for it either. Ended up going through AliExpress, which is not really a site I'd probably recommend for a lot of things, as I don't think there's probably a legitimate brand name on there anywhere to be found. It's all mostly counterfeits and clones. But things like these DROs, they're kind of their own market, and you know, I don't think this one's particularly a counterfeit or clone of any kind. And you know, it seems to be pretty much the same thing you find on eBay and even some of the US distributors that import their goods from China as well. But you know, going through the AliExpress site, you save a little bit of money cutting out the middleman, so to speak. Now, it does have its own inherent risks and things you kind of gotta take some precautions about. But you know, although there was a little bit of inconvenience here and there when ordering this, for the most part it wasn't that bad. It went pretty smooth, and I got what I wanted. Now, the only thing I will complain about is that they did forget to put the manual in the box, as well as the collet holder. Not that I need either to run the thing, but they are at least gonna, I think, email me a copy of the manual here pretty soon. You know, the collet holder, I guess I could care less about. It was just kind of a cheap freebie, and something not necessary for the DRO to work, so I guess I'll let that slide. But I guess it would have been nice also to have one to help organize some of these collets I got thrown all over the shop. But you know, at the end of the day, no big deal. But at any rate, that's that. Just to talk about a couple things I'm working on. I am working on a couple of small fixed blades. This is actually a new design I recently polished up in CAD and made a little template of today. Posted this one on Instagram already. Which, by the way, if any of you guys watching this are on Instagram, I encourage you to look me up and follow me, AR Custom Knives, same as the YouTube channel. I do post things on there from time to time that don't necessarily make it to either YouTube or you know, the Facebook page or anywhere else. So if you're interested, go ahead and look that up, follow me, and maybe you'll see something you like from time to time. But what I'm going for with this one is a slim, lightweight neck or boot knife design. And actually, I kind of got down and started designing this for a lady at my church. She approached me a few weeks ago saying she'd been looking for a boot knife for the longest time and really wasn't happy with any of the knives or sheath systems that she saw offered today. And it sounded like she'd done quite a bit of research and looked around at quite a few different options. You know, and I'm sure maybe I could have pointed her to a couple of things she probably hadn't seen yet. But, you know, we kind of got to talking about what she wanted. And it sounded like a neat little challenge for me as far as mainly coming up more so with the sheath system than the knife. And, you know, I think she was actually maybe even thinking about something even a little bit smaller than this, but you know, I'm going to see what she thinks of this first. I'm kind of the opinion that if you ever need a boot knife, you probably want to be able to get a pretty good grip and you know, be able to use it than carrying something small for, you know, convenience that's not going to be useful to you. So I kind of looked at that as a challenge and you know, made this not super big, but not super small either. And the part that's going to be maybe a little bit harder is coming up with a sheath that will clip nicely to a boot, you know, not be too obvious or uncomfortable or cumbersome, but still effective and accessible. So still kind of working on some ideas in my mind for that, but in the meantime, I think I'll make a few prototype blades and maybe see what she thinks. And as far as what I'm going to use for material, I want to keep it thin, I want to keep it light. The scales will probably be 1/8 inch G10 on either side, and the steel will probably be 100 thousandths thick, 8670 for now. It's a new steel I haven't tried before, high carbon tool steel. Supposed to be pretty tough, even tougher than 5160 from what I understand. And I got some from Alpha Knife Supply. It came in today, and pretty excited about using that, trying it out, maybe doing some testing with it. What I also have here is for another project that I've been talking about doing for a while. I got a bunch of pivots, bearings, and screws that'll actually be for the everyday carry scissors that I designed a while back. I know I posted a couple videos of the prototype in 1095 high carbon. Actually bought some AEBL stainless from the Jersey Steel Baron. It's being drop shipped to Mark Vanderwest at Leading Edge Fabricating Waterjet. And I'm going to have a small number of pairs cut out and then send back to me for, you know, kind of dialing in and getting set up. And then those parts will then go to Peter's Heat Treat. And then once again return back to me, where hopefully I can get a few pairs set up and offered for sale here before too long. The steel's still on its way. I think he said about a 5-day lead time. So maybe by middle to end of next week I'll have the parts. We'll maybe try to start working on that. And then get those sent out for heat treat as soon as I can. And we'll probably give an extra couple weeks for that. At the most, and then you know, maybe within a month I'll have some to offer up. Still kind of dialing the final price point that I want to hit on these. I don't want them to be super expensive, but that said, they are still kind of a precision tool. You know, they take some thought and effort to make, and actually pretty considerable upfront investment. You know, all the different parts, pieces, materials that go into these aren't necessarily cheap. I'm using the best that I can to make the best product that I can. So there'll be a little bit more than say this pair of scissors cost, but I think it'll be worth it, and they'll be a little bit unique, and hopefully get a good reception. So be looking for those. That'll be a while. Also going to be working with this steel to make a few neck knives and fixed blades, maybe some folders eventually. Another thing I want to do and get into is making my own stencils. I've got a LED ultraviolet light strip in there for developing, as well as some PCB stencil material, which I'm not sure if it's quite the same thing as the knife stencils. I'm not really clear if the material, when it's developed, completely dissolves away, or if there's still a little bit of a screen or a mesh holding it together. I'm going to do a little bit of experimenting with that. But I got some MDF over there. I'm going to make a little light box. And, I've got some stencils kind of designed and printed up on the computer already, some transparency film. And if all else fails, I'll have to order some purpose built stencil material for it. But that'll be another little thing I'm getting into. Let's see, I don't want to make this too much longer of an update, but I will show you a couple knives I have also been working on. And this is actually the first knife I've ground on the new grinder there. And very happy with how it's coming out. See if I can get away from those bright lights. Kind of got to get rid of some bad habits that I developed maybe on the other grinder. But so far it's coming out pretty good. Everything's nice and even, nice and centered, good plunge lines. And I think this will make a nice little neck knife, or I guess it could be used for a boot knife or a belt knife, pocket knife, what have you. Good little everyday utility. Looking forward to finishing those. I just made the two. They're already heat treated. Got the one beveled, the other one will be soon to follow, hopefully. And then I want to get some blanks cut out and heat treated for that other design over there. But other than that, I've always got a few irons in the fire, a few projects in the works. Some, I guess kind of get started and never finished. Some never even get started. But, hopefully I can kind of follow through on some of these, and be seeing a few more videos coming forth, as well as maybe some fresh posts in the classifieds, some things for sale maybe before too long. So keep an eye out for that. Again, if you're not subscribed to my Instagram, I'd appreciate a follow. I do also have a Facebook page, AR Custom Knives, and I am pretty involved with the knife making forums, USN, Blade Forums, Knife Dogs. Not really on Jersey Devil or the knifeforums.com or the Knife Network anymore, but occasionally I get on there and kind of browse around, poke around. Usernames AR Custom Knives on most of those. Knife to a Gunfight on Blade Forums, although I need to change that to AR Custom probably. But at any rate, look for me there. Follow me if you're not already. And other than that, stay tuned for the next video. We'll see you.